Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome everyone to today's panel, AI and its impact on education, technology, and beyond. Whether you're a part of the Quantic community, an AI enthusiast, or joining us for the first time, we promise this is going to be a great discussion today. In today's panel, we will discuss how AI influences the landscape of education technology and how it's reshaping the way we learn, teach, and innovate. You will also have the opportunity to get a first-hand look at Quantic's new AI Advisor feature. I'm Dr. Patrick Glauner, and I'm happy to be today's moderator. I teach AI as a professor in Germany at Deggendorf Institute of Technology, which is based in Bavaria. And I also run my own AI consulting company, Skyrocket AI. I finished my Quantic MBA about 5 years ago, and it was a great experience. So I'm very happy to be here today. Now, please allow me to introduce our panelists for today. First, we have Tom Adams, the chairman of Quantic's parent company, and he's also the co-founder of Quantic. Next up, we have Alexie Harper, the co-founder and chief product officer at Quantic. Last but not least, Ratner, the co-founder and CTO at Quantic. Welcome, everyone. Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Here.
So let's start with Tom. Tom, Quantic is investing in numerous AI initiatives, from the new AI Advisor to the new executive education courses that focus on teaching AI-related skills. I already had a look at the AI Advisor 2 weeks ago, and I think just yesterday you started promoting the executive education, which is great. So on the one hand, many universities have been very slow in adopting AI into their curriculum and student experience, and some even don't know how to take advantage of AI. What do you think the reason for that is? What are the risks in educational institutions adopting AI, and what are the risks of not adopting AI?
Well, thanks very much for that question. I think AI is one of these groundbreaking technologies, and it will take some time, I think, for everyone to sort of appreciate its scope and also kind of come to terms with all the positive aspects of it. But the way I think educators in general are responding to it sort of varies in terms of where they are thinking about deploying it. And so they're certainly, I think, using it to improve their planning, creating exercises and so on. That's kind of many professors and teachers are sort of adopting it for that. I think what's more difficult is to sort of adopt it as a tool to essentially allow for information discovery by the student to be more dynamic, because I think the unit of measure to some degree is the teaching hours in the classroom, or let's say the presentations that are made online. And so traditional educators are going to struggle, I think, to sort of reinvent themselves without having to leave a lot of their traditional practices behind. Also, I think that there's a lot of energy going to how to prevent cheating or make sure that, any essay that's written is truly written by the student and not by AI. And I think that that's also unfortunate that so much energy goes to that, because I think in all our professional lives, we've not really been measured in terms of essay writing as much as we have been in terms of problem solving and analysis and critical thinking. And from our standpoint, obviously, there's great opportunity with AI, whether that's to sort of develop the more interactive, more open-ended learning system, or it's creating more responsive advisor type of functionality, or it's to sort of develop more discussion-based interactions with our students. We just see this as a terrific technology. It allows us to build more content in a better way, we think. And so in general, we think this is a very benign new technology, and we think that we sort of are very much set up to take advantage of it. And in general, we're hoping that more educational institutions in the world sort of see the opportunity and that they spend less time on the dangers of it, because I think that will slow down their adoption.
Well, thanks, Tom. And I fully agree. We need to take advantage of that technology. And I see so many professors all around the world at classic universities. They want to restrict the use of AI in teaching. And I think if we do that, the only thing we're doing is to prepare today's students for tomorrow's unemployment, because those tools are being used in the real world. And if we ignore that reality, today's students will be in big trouble. Alexie, maybe you can tell us more about the new Quantic AI advisor. How does this feature improve the existing student experience?
Sure, I'd love to. And I just want to say we're so excited to have launched. Currently, our AI advisor can answer questions that range from administrative concerns to helping a student understand and practice what they're learning in our program. And you really can ask the bot about anything from program schedule or capstone requirements to how supply and demand works, and many things in between. We're in beta right now, so we're actively improving the experience and adding new features. As students and alumni ask more questions of AI Advisor, we are categorizing those questions and working to make our answers more accurate and expand the scope of what we're able to answer. But our plan is not to stop there. We have some exciting things in the works for the future to incorporate AI in ways that will enhance the student experience, and we're really excited about it.
That's great. So I had a look at the AI advisor too, and for example, I asked the AI advisor, like, which statistical test should I pick, in the chapter on statistical tests, and I think it gave pretty good answers. So I enjoyed it a lot. Let us know, what's your favorite aspect of the new AI advisor?
So I love its flexibility. As a student, you can ask about your schedule or project, and AI Advisor will know what cohort you're a part of, which capstone you've been assigned. It can personalize its answers to your experience, and you don't actually need to give additional context or tell the bot what type of question you're going to ask. So we're just working to make this a very seamless, easy experience for students.
Great. Ori, since you're the CTO, I'm so curious about, the technical details. I teach AI, I teach large language models. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about the technical aspects of building the AI advisor. What data did you use? Did you build it on top of ChatGPT, or did you come up with your own large language model? I'm so curious to learn about that.
Yeah. Thank you, Patrick. So yeah, it really starts with our initial hypothesis was that what students would most want to do is ask questions about content. So where we began was focusing on essentially mining our proprietary academic material and adapting that in a way that it could be essentially leveraged by a large language model. And we were successful with that pretty early on. But what we discovered was actually when given access to a bot like this, you really want to ask it everything, as Alexie alluded to. So really the project quickly widened into an effort to, across our entire company, expose all of the information that we could in structured forms that could be consumed and leveraged by LLMs. It almost became a combination of a product, an IT, a process, digital transformation type of effort, if you will. And so it was really interesting to see how this technology was transforming not just the user experience, but even sort of how we do business internally a little bit. So really, I don't want to get into, obviously, in this very short call, all of the details of the technical architecture, but really, in essence, our challenge shifted to become, one, exposing all of that information. And that information includes things like course content, assignments, frequently asked questions, policies, the curriculum, schedule information, your progress within that, your scores within that, and so forth. But then deciding within that vast sea of information that we've exposed, what is most relevant to the given interaction to be provided to the LLM to give an accurate answer. And then how do we decorate the responses in a way such that the student is able to check the answers as well for accuracy. So we don't want to just simply give some output that you have to trust. As much as possible, we want to cite our sources and give you more things you can go through to sort of verify. And that's sort of the approach we've taken thus far. And yeah, we're very excited with the results. And yeah, I'll stop there and see if you have any other questions.
Sounds exciting. Thanks. Alexie, now you launched the AI chatbot AI advisor a few weeks ago, like yesterday or 2 days ago. I also received an email that you launched the executive education programs. Some of them also focus on AI training. Can you tell us more about those and who they are intended for?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, we've added several different types of certificates, some in this technology space relating to AI, some not. But we're really excited about these AI certificates. So I can mention a few of them and just kind of the varying audiences that they're for. So one of them we have is called Learn to Code with ChatGPT. There are no prerequisites. It's intended for a very broad audience of AI enthusiasts, no coding experience required. And the goal is for users to be able to quickly generate code using natural language prompts while also learning the fundamentals of code development in the process. So I would say that's one of the certificates that's on the more accessible side. Others, like Transform Your Business with AI and ChatGPT, are tailored to leaders who want to quickly get up to speed on how AI can be leveraged by their companies. And then we also have a certificate that's specifically for tech leaders that features an AI strategy project to help experienced tech folks adopt new AI technologies into their businesses. So we're really excited about all of these. And our hope is that we can continue to grow those certificates as well as we see what our students are interested in.
Sounds exciting. Ori, as the CTO, you have done great work with your team on the AI advisor and the general adoption of AI for Quantic. Now, if I look into the Hugging Face portal, wherever, I feel there are like thousands of new LLMs that get released every day. There are so many changes all the time. How do you and your team stay on top of those changes and that you're able to take advantage of what's happening and make sure that you remain innovative?
That's a great question. So as you said, the field is just moving incredibly quickly today. And it really can be difficult to find that signal in the noise sometimes. I think in terms of how you stay up to date, there's obviously some standard ways you can do that. Finding and following researchers and builders on social media is actually one of the best. They'll often be talking about their latest papers on archive or their systems that they've just built or some small result that they're excited about. But really, I think what we found is that you really need to accept that your problems are going to be unique to your business. They certainly have been for us. And what's really most important, I think, is having a process and infrastructure in place internally for you to be able to try new ideas, to actually try them, not just read about them, and then quickly evaluate how well they work for you in hopefully a way that's safe and unbiased and maybe doesn't require taking too much risk for your business. We've certainly taken a lot of time up front to build some monitoring and evaluation tools internally that allow us to do this. And we've paired that with some very short development cycles, sort of a process where we will try something quickly. We will do a relatively cheap test to verify that it's not hurting anything. Hopefully it's helping. And then we will rapidly expand that out to more people, to more context, and then hopefully launch it if it is successful. And so I think having that feedback loop, finding a way to innovate, but in also a safe way, has been really helpful for us. It's been kind of a powerful way to manage an innovation project like this. And I think if you elevate maybe a little bit more, it's just important to recognize how immature the AI technology landscape is today. You just have to say that. So whatever software architecture you have now, tomorrow might be a liability. So if you really are planning to stay ahead and be at that edge, you have to be prepared to adopt the pace of technical change that might be a little uncomfortable compared to other domains you've worked in. I can say that AI Advisor in its very short life, we've already gone through 2 major architectural shifts within it in response to both lessons learned and just changes in the underlying technologies out there. And I kind of expect that that's going to be true of any product that's adopting AI and has ambitious goals.
I agree. The field is evolving so rapidly, and you really need to keep working hard every day to stay on top. What advice do you give to other business leaders who want to stay informed about the latest changes in AI and how you can foster innovation around it?
Yeah, I think I might return to some of the things I said. In addition to just following what other people are doing, there's no substitute for trying it. And you just need to find a way that you can do that safely for your business. It sounds like a simple answer, but that really is it. This is not an industry, an ecosystem where there are best practices that have been established and you can get by just following those. You really do have to chart your own path to some degree. And so you need to build internal expertise and process and so forth so that you can develop that.
Great. Tom, I'd also like to hear your perspective on that. So what do you recommend professionals and executives that want to implement AI for their business? What advice would you give them? And do you have any advice on how they can build up knowledge in AI? And is AI nice to have for some industries, or do you think it's an essential skill for all professionals in the future?
Obviously, the level of technical knowledge about AI will need to vary in how I answer that question. Obviously, most people will not be, LLM engineers and so forth, and that's not really, I think, the nature of your question. But I think everyone will be GPT prompting, and everyone will be working increasingly with how to automate things within their business. And I think the risk is to not, let's say, get involved in this technology means that as efficiencies occur in companies, your role is sort of less central to what's going on because a lot of the change will be taking place in an AI-enabled fashion. And so I think, like, if you sort of take a step back and start with what is AI going to do to business in general, I think it's going to re-engineer business processes. So anyone working in operations has to think about whether it's their customer support or how they sort of handle different steps in their business process. How can they leverage AI to just make themselves more efficient without, let's say, compromising on the customer experience? And then obviously there's all of the re-engineering that's possible with the chatbot interface and the overall AI enablement that's coming with this new generative form of AI. Obviously, some people here are thinking about starting a company, and a new technology like this creates that opportunity. And then finally, I would say that one of the sort of curious things for me about this technology is that it allows you to deliver high quality experiences in languages other than, let's say, the one of your core market, whatever that core market would be. And so I think more companies will go global much earlier because you can essentially create a support structure for your customers in other languages that's really accessible. I think that most people need to also see this technology as very much something that will be part of every business discussion. And so I think it's important to sort of have values around this topic that are filled with confidence, because that's the best way to approach this technology. And so by having the right level of education, let's say that you're more of a business leader and less of a technology leader in your organization, but understanding enough of it, having used it, as my co-founders have said, much more practically, will make you much more confident in making decisions around it. So you'll be a more modern business leader. And obviously, this technology allows you to be much more inclusive. So business services, support services that, let's say, were very high cost and that you couldn't deliver to people traditionally, you can now. So if you were building, let's say, a service that was catering to, the very top of executives, and you were a consultant, well, now maybe your skill, your know-how can be botified, and you can engage with a much broader set of customers. And I think the quality is also going to improve. And so I think that folks have to sort of decide, whether they're going to stand on the sidelines of this technology and sort of see others leverage it to raise their career potential, or whether they're actually going to really embrace this. And we've built both executive education courses to help folks participate more on the technical side, even if they're non-technical leaders. And of course, we've built courseware that allows someone that's really curious about its strategic importance, so that they can provide, let's say, AI transformation in their company. And so we think that there's something for all sorts of people, but those are the primary sort of user stories we've focused on. But yeah, people have to embrace this technology if they want to be leaders in the world of business, certainly, and technology goes without saying.
Fantastic. I fully agree. We have received 4 fantastic questions from our students. Before we discuss them, I have another question that I want to discuss with you, Alexie. So I, as an educator myself, I'm too wondering how to take advantage of AI. I've been teaching courses on AI for many years. However, I also want to integrate AI in my teaching. And I feel there are a lot of discussions around whether students use, AI to write seminar papers, bachelor's, master's thesis, and then professors try to figure it out and penalize them. So when I started with looking into ChatGPT a year ago, I changed the rules of how I supervise papers, thesis, and I told my students they are not only allowed to use these tools, I even require them to use them. So probably they can submit better documents. Now we have that AI tutor with Quantic, which can answer questions on how, to do whatever. Would our students also be allowed to use that chatbot in order to write their case studies that they need to submit? Have you changed the honor code around that, and would you encourage them to use the chatbot, helping them to draft the solution for their case studies?
So yeah, so I mean, as you say, many universities do seem to be focusing on the student use of these technologies and worrying that students are using AI to do work for them or about plagiarism. And much of that focus seems to be on actually preventing students from using these new tools. But kind of as you say, for us, we really want to teach students how to use these new technologies as they arise to be prepared for the modern economy. And so to answer your question more directly, we've opted for policies that explain how to cite GPT queries. So ChatGPT or using our own AI advisor. And we really want our students to feel comfortable using those in order to create better work. So we expect that when students go out into the job force, that they're going to be using these new features. And so for us, it's much more about how do you use them responsibly? How do you let your instructor know that you've used them, but really becoming familiar with them and comfortable with them.
Great. Now we have 4 questions from our students, and one of the question is, he or she says that he or she is a current student and wondering if the tutor chatbot will still be available after graduation. So can you still log in and use it later?
Yeah, so I'll take that one. Yes, you will have access. We've made AI Advisor available to our alumni already, and we would love this to become a resource that our alumni return to in order to refresh knowledge, maybe practice concepts that could be applicable to their jobs. And we would love to hear from our current alumni about how they are currently using AI Advisor or would like to use it, so we can continue making this an experience that's helpful long past graduation.
Great. So you would be happy about feedback from the students. And one question was also whether they can submit feedback and suggestions. So how can they get in touch with you and submit their feedback?
Yeah, so the easiest way to get feedback about AI Advisor's responses is actually to use the thumbs up and thumbs down feature for any given response. But of course, we always welcome other types of feedback. And so if our students want to use the feedback tab email us any suggestions or feedback, any thoughts they have. We love to hear that. You can also use Slack, of course. I know many of our students have been giving us feedback about AI Advisor over Slack. So all of those are completely valid ways, and we would love to hear from you.
Perfect. That sounds great. So Ori, can you tell us more about the chatbot? Does it answer questions in real time, or is there a delay?
Sure, absolutely. So it is in real time. That actually having a very responsive live experience was something that was very important to us. And so yes, when you're speaking to AI Advisor, it is taking your question and actually your entire question history into account in real time and formulating a response. And in fact, we stream the response ultimately back to you in real time. You see each character typed to the screen as it comes back, an experience that I think is becoming increasingly familiar in bots. So yes, we try to strive for an experience where there's no waiting or as little waiting as possible. So hopefully you can get the information you need or the experience that you were hoping for quickly.
Sounds great. We have one more question, and the student asks if there are any plans to update and improve the chatbot and its capabilities and knowledge bases. I think you definitely keep innovating all the time. So I want to rephrase the question. Where do you want the chatbot and AI at Quantic to be, say, in 2 years, 5 years, and 10 years from now? Maybe Tom, go ahead.
All of that is something we're very passionate and excited about. We have a whole labs team that's working on it. We have a whole engineering team that's exploring it. So whether it's on the content side or on the technology side, we are working hard at it. We think that over the course of the next several quarters, we'll start doing more and more things in this domain. Obviously, there's areas that are particularly exciting for us in terms of, whether it's the generative AI where you can create content, or it's some of the engagement AI where either it's within this advisor, the AI advisor, and other such formats, we can deliver more individualized, more customized responses. Obviously, all the time we're trying to suss out how to grade and score the quality of our AI responses. And because there's a sort of more varied nature across the experience, given that, it's very responsive, that's something also we're excited about. But yeah, no, we're all in on AI. This is sort of the biggest opportunity we see, not just for us, but just, the education industry at large.
Great. Ori, I have another question. So today we've talked about how you build the AI advisor. Maybe you can tell us also, how do you use AI personally as a CTO? Do you use AI to help you writing code, for example?
Yeah. So not just me, but yeah, on our team, we've certainly, like many engineers, experimented quite a bit with using generative AI to help us in our day-to-day engineering and coding work. That I think is very exciting, but I think what's been kind of notable is how often we'll use it, or at least some of us anyway, will use it as a brainstorming partner. So if you're just trying to, think of certain ideas or maybe paths to take, especially if it's, anything that I think revolves around naming, for example, it's really a great sounding board and sort of a creativity partner. So I think that's maybe one of the more perhaps unusual ways that I've found it to be helpful as well.
Great. Alexie, how do you plan to use the new technology, say, in collaboration with other universities? Have you been in touch with other universities? Are they curious about what you're doing and they want to license your chatbot for their teaching as well?
So we haven't been in touch with other universities about that yet, but we are actually trying to keep tabs on how other universities are using these technologies. We want to learn from others. We hope others will become inspired by what we're doing. And so it's a really exciting time, and we're just hoping that more people jump into the fray and start trying some things.
Well, that sounds great. So thanks for all your insights, Tom, Ori, and Alexie. Our scheduled time today is now coming to an end, and I want to thank you, all of you, for joining today, both the audience as well as Ori, Tom, and Alexie. A special thanks goes to you for providing all these insights. And I think what we all notice is that Quantic is a very innovative company and investing a lot in AI in order to stay at the forefront of the innovation and education, which is a great thing. For those who are already part of the Quantic community and you have a Quantic account, take a look at the AI advisor. You can sign in and ask any questions and see how it goes and provide feedback. Maybe you can also do a post on that on LinkedIn. And if you're not part of Quantic yet, give a shot at it. I think there are so many new initiatives now, not just the AI advisor, also the executive programs, as well as obviously the MBA programs, which are very established now. And give a shot at it and let us know how it goes. As we conclude today's webinar, I, aside from Quantic, encourage you to stay curious. AI is really changing our economy, not just companies, but our worldwide economy, how we work, how we think. And so it's impacting education and beyond. Keep an eye at Quantic. I'm sure the next AI innovations will happen here as well. And thank you very much for joining us today, everyone, and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Patrick.